coverage. City News on 97.3 FM. Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
City News.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to Eyewitness News, coming to you live from our studios here at number 11, Dr. Martin Loop in Adabraka in Accra. My name is Selom Adonu. Tonight I'm here with
Hawa Idrisu Mustafa.
Coming up over the next 90 minutes.
In the name of Akufo-Addo, Mahmoud Bawumia, and Ken Ofori-Atta, we commission this expensive hole in the world.
It's 6 March 2024, the date announced by government to commission the botched National Cathedral. NDC MPs led by Crusader Okujeto Ablakwa, quote, commission the uncompleted National Cathedral to mock government, despite initial hiccups with security who refused them access to the construction site proper. Still on Eyewitness News, Gan Dangbe Council rebukes President Akufo-Addo for attempting to rewrite history by claiming that Tete Kwashi Ega Dangbe, recognized for being the one to have brought cocoa to Ghana, hailed from Mampo in the eastern region. There is more on this later. Also, coming up, reports suggest that more than 200 residents of 3 border communities fled last night following a suspected terrorist attack at Nagudi in neighboring Togo. There is a spillover to the Bumpurugu area in northeast Ghana. Stay with 97.3 Citi FM for more on this and other stories on Eyewitness News. And in business,
Government urged to implement robust measures to accelerate economic growth as country celebrates 67th independence.
there is more business in the next 50 minutes. Eyewitness News is live across the country on all our affiliates and around the world at citynewsroom.com. Your comments are welcome via our WhatsApp line 0549 986 996. You can follow me on X at Salom Adonu. The hashtag, as always, is City Newsroom. Howard gives us our very first story.
Opposition members of parliament, led by North Town MP Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa, have taken a satirical stance by commissioning the uncompleted National Cathedral project as a symbolic gesture aimed at highlighting the government's perceived failure to finish the project. Initial attempt by the opposition MPs to access the construction site where the controversial National Cathedral stands were thwarted by security personnel who prevented them from delivering a statement at the said location. Despite being barred from entering the construction site, the minority MPs reached an agreement with security personnel to stand at the entrance and commission the uncompleted project. Here are excerpts of what transpired between the MPs and security personnel and the subsequent commissioning.
I get your instructions. Your instructions that we should not enter the site. We will enter at the end. We will stand at the end. We are not entering. We will enter. So set your perimeter at the entrance.
I think we have made a compromise. We are not entering. We will enter. That is a fair compromise. Let's go. Let's go.
Move. In the name of Akufo-Addo, Mahmoud Bawumia, and Ken Ofori-Atta, we commission this expensive hole in the world.
So those were excerpts of sound from the site of the National Cathedral, while opposition members of parliament had gone to commission the uncompleted National Cathedral.
Very well. Okujeto Ablakwa Samuel, Honorable, the Member of Parliament for Northton, who has been leading a crusade against the cathedral, who indeed spoke at that event and quote-unquote commissioned it, is joined us on the line to help us understand exactly why they went there. Hello, good evening, sir. Welcome to Eyewitness News. What was the point of your action today?
Yeah, good evening, Salam. Good evening to all listeners of Citi FM. As we advertised, today we went to the site of what has become the world's most expensive pit, $68.1 million. And all we have to see is a pit And as Bishop Darkeward Mills said in his resignation letter, he never imagined that so much money can be spent only to dig a hole. So you do recall that President Akufo-Addo had promised God, promised Parliament, and promised the Ghanaian people that today, being the 6th of March 2024, will be the day he commissions what he described as his priority of priorities, what he calls a legacy project, $450 million, for which he has demolished so many structures. He demolished the Scholarship Secretariat. He demolished the Passport Head Office. He demolished the Judicial Training Institute. He demolished judges' bungalows. He demolished the Malian ambassador's residence. He demolished bungalows belonging to Shraj. He demolished the Comsys IT firm headquarters. He demolished the Waterstone Realty apartment complex. So when you put all of these demolitions together, the compensation we must pay them, and remember some are in court, like the Waterstone Realty apartment complex. They are in court saying that they have still not been compensated. When you put all of that together, we have spent far more than the $58 million that was illegally withdrawn in flagrant violation of the Constitution on the blind side of Parliament. So the president told the world that today will be the day for commissioning. Now, we do know that because of major diversions, this has been the most scandal-riddled project. And it is not surprising that because of all the diversions, all the blatant corruption, this project remains a pit after spending $58 million. And so today we went to the site to demand accountability. It was an accountability mission. We walked from Parliament to the place. We chose today because it's a significant day. Today should have been the day of commissioning. And the president owes us an explanation why he spent so much of our money, over $58 million, why he recklessly demolished so many state assets, strategic assets, important institutions like the Judicial Training Institute, which serves the whole of the Commonwealth, judges' bungalows. He demolished the Scholarship Secretariat, the Passport Head Office. Why he did all of these things, and we still don't have any results. There is nothing to show for it, except wanton dissipation of scarce resources, which have ended up in private pockets. So if you look at the 18-point demand we made, one of the demands we are making is an immediate retrieval. David Ajayi is keeping $19.1 million. Carrie Summers is keeping $6 million. Reverend Kusi Boateng Kwabena Edu-Jemfi has 2.6 million Ghana cedis. We are demanding retrievals from all of these persons. We are also saying the National Cathedral Board must be dissolved. The Secretariat, which has so far received a staggering 225 million Ghana cedis. We are demanding that Secretariat should be shut down immediately because it's such a tax guzzler. I mean, after all of these millions of dollars, the contractor, Ribade JV, 2 years ago suspended work for lack of payment. I mean, can you believe that? It's intriguing, absolutely mind-boggling. Look at the staggering sums of money I've been mentioning throughout this interview. And yet, the contractor, Ribade JV, walked away 2 years ago, exactly 2 years ago, March 14th, 2022, the contractor left for lack of payment. So we are demanding answers. The other demand we are making is that it is absolutely imperative for this contract to be immediately abrogated. It has to be terminated. Because if you pay regard to the terms of the contract, a copy of which we took to the site today, you will observe that the contract is a really terrible one. Despite no work going on, Ghanaian taxpayers we'll have to pay for extension of time claims. We have to pay for standing time claims. We also have to pay for abortive and reworks costs due to the suspension of works. So even though there's no work going on there, according to the contract signed by the National Cathedral Board of Trustees, backed by President Akufo-Addo, the Ghanaian taxpayer is losing money. And this is a country that, for heaven's sake, cannot even fix the broken down dialysis machines at Konfanote. 19 people died not too long ago at the renal unit at Kolebu. La General Hospital remains a bare ground because government
for the La General Hospital, government says it's secured funding. But Honorable,
after how many years?
Yes, would this be the first time a government would promise fund a project but will be unable to complete it on schedule? I mean, we've had many government promises and projects over the years which have, had funds sunk into them, but have not been completed on schedule. But we did not see this level of advocacy and crusading from members of parliament or from people. Why is this particular one, incurring this? Is it because it was a personal promise made by the president, and so we had to deal with it this way? Why is it so different?
So first of all, it is because we did not have a national discussion, a national debate. We didn't come to an agreement that we need to construct a cathedral for God. The president told us that it's a personal pledge to God, and he was going to use personal funds. You remember when he met the clergy, he told them
but I'm not sure about personal funds. He said he will lead the process. Government will provide seed funding.
He will lead the process, and they were not going to use public funds.
But the state or the state will
donation.
Yes, the state will provide seed money.
The state initially, he said the state will only provide the land. Then later on, the finance minister came to parliament and said there will just be a minimal contribution of some seed funds. Then we in parliament asked for how much that seed fund will be, because how parliament works is that there has to be a specific item in the budget, in the appropriation bill. There has to be a specific line item. We kept asking for years. They didn't tell us until we started intercepting documents. And so far, what has gone on is not a seed fund contribution. It is rather the state footing the bills. I mean, more than 90% of all payments have come from taxes. And that is not what we were told. So this level of anger and outrage is because of the lies, the deception. Look, as Christians, we believe that if there is any project in this country which must be carried out in absolute purity, cleanliness, above the board, it should be this project. This is not a project that should be subjected to. Do you know that on the 4th of July, 2022, I wrote to the PPA asking if they had even granted procurement approval, if this project has gone through the procurement process. They replied the next day, 5th July, 2022. I have a copy of their reply that they have no knowledge of the project. It didn't come to them. They have granted no procurement approval. Can you believe that? A $450 million project. Even the cost of this project, it started at $100 million. Then it went to 150, 200, 250, 300. Now it's 450, still escalating. So everything surrounding this project has not been transparent. They have not been accountable. We don't even know if this is a project that we should be pursuing
So exactly the point where I want to go to. What then is the future or becomes the future of the project? Is this something you would advise that we pause? Of course, we've paused, re-strategize and pick it up again, spread it and then get it achieved? Because, a lot is going already. You say 58.1 million. You even said it could be more. Do we just leave it there, leave the site as it is, or we re-strategize, spread it, and then get the project back on the front burner? What is the future of the project in your view?
Yes, so we thought to address this very important question you have asked in the 13 demand we made. We presented a 13-point demand. So we are calling for a national debate so we can achieve some national consensus. A few months ago, the TUC suggested that the place should be turned into a hospital. I have heard others say more specifically that Ghana lacks a specialist children's hospital. And so let's have a very modern, pediatric center to cater for our children, because that's a major deficit we have in our public health. So we can consider all of these options.
No, but the pit on all the investments. Okay, all right, go ahead.
There are some of the reverend ministers who have also told us that the project can be rescoped and they can do it far less if it is left for them. And Ghana's, if you look at Ghana's Christian religious landscape, our reverend ministers, our clergymen have done an amazing job with far less. If you go to their churches, their headquarters, various centers, for prayer, for religious pilgrimage, you'll be amazed what they have done all over the country for far less. So there is also that suggestion that probably it can be rescoped, and then left to the clergy who have tremendous expertise in these matters to go ahead if it is that we come to a certain national consensus that indeed we need a national cathedral, that such a project is, important or a priority. So I say that let's initiate that national discussion and arrive at a certain consensus moving forward. But the project cannot continue in this state, this scope, under this very, laissez-faire, no transparency, everybody just doing whatever they want. People just come collect money and leave the jurisdiction like Carrie Summers did. I mean, at this rate and with these practices, this culture at the National Cathedral Secretariat, nothing will be achieved. It's just a leaking basket. And nothing credible will be achieved.
Very well, Honorable. Just hold it there for me. Richard Ahiagba, Director of Communication of the MPP, is joined the discussion. Hello, Richard. Welcome to Eyewitness News. Indeed, you promised 6 March 2024, and here we are. The project is still, a pit. A lot of money sunk into it. What's the president's thinking? What are you thinking as a party regarding this particular promise the president said was a personal one he made to God? The project is stalled. We've sunk in 58.1 million at least, and nothing is happening.
Well, thank you very much, Salom, and say good evening to my brother, Honorable Blackwell, and your listeners. Salom, I think that the cathedral project is work in progress. I think that for any project of that magnitude, you begin, you dig a foundation, and you build it out. And so where it's at is at an appropriate stage where, in time, the structure will be put on it. So for me, I don't see any real challenge. I don't see any appearance of waste, because necessarily you must dig the pit and build on it. So if people want to capitalize that you are digging a pit and you haven't built it out, what I tell them is that it's just a matter of time and a start time.
Upon hindsight, will you say that the 2024 6 March date given was overambitious?
Well, perhaps, but projects are always estimated to finish at a certain time, and they almost never finish at a time, but eventually they get finished. There are projects in this country that were started under Muzia, some under Rawlings, some under John Mahama, Professor Atta Mills, with ambitious dates. They never got finished. But the truth about them is that in time, they will be finished. We are in a business of a continuous governance, and so if what is started today is not finished, certainly our posterity will finish it if we ourselves we don't finish it before our time passes.
Are you also concerned? Yes.
Too much.
Yes. Are you also concerned about the controversies that has dogged this particular project? Issues with some of the persons on the board, the resignations and all of that. Issues of lack of accountability, alleged breach of procurement rules, etc. This is a house being built for God. And are you not concerned that a house being built for God is being dogged by many of such controversies, most of them, being alleged criminalities?
Well, there is no surprise. Even at the time of creation, in God's own house, there was Satan there. So to have to deal with human beings and people having indiscretions and creating disruption in what was supposed to be an orderly execution of a project to build a house in honor of God. They will not be the first in our generation to have a situation like that. Even in churches, all these projects that you have seen them build, there's always one person or the other trying to scuttle the effort of many. So what I am very resolute and clear in my mind about is the commitment to build this. And I believe that commitment and desire to build a national cathedral for the country, I think it's a noble one. And what we have to do is that continue in this effort. And I believe that good people will come around and support this project to see the light of day.
That's a very important point you made. So as part of the exercise they did today, which I'm sure you speak about, they put forward a 13-point agenda. One of them is that let's convert the place to maybe a children's hospital because Ghana lacks that. Another one is let's pause, let's terminate the contract, let's have a national discussion on whether we need a national cathedral, and let's allow the clergy who have expertise in building cathedrals and church buildings lead it rather than the state, taking the front role or the front seat. What's your thinking around these demands they are making?
Well, certainly, in nation building, these are legitimate proposals that have been made. But at any given time, you have a leader, and that leader will take all these inputs and guide us in a forward march with a decision that he thinks is most appropriate for us. So, but then not to discount all of those, I think that they are good ideas. But ultimately, Arrowhead would give us a direction and we'll follow. And so, but you see, so this cathedral thing, I think people make it into appearing as if it's a misplaced project. It's not. Look, if we build a hospital today, tomorrow we'll need something else. And the very thing that we need today that we're building, we think that is the last thing or the most important we need, and there's another thing that is more important. So things will have to be ordered in terms of preference. I get that, but we're never going to finish building the ultimate thing we need and the last thing that we ever need to build. So things will be left undone, but the cathedral also is important. So let's get all these ideas. What I think is our solution is that let's get more revenue, let's get more resources so we can build all of these things that we're looking for. But let's not, in the process, underestimate the importance of one thing over the other.
Speaking about getting more revenue and more resources, there's been a call for there's been a call for an audit into what we've done so far. That audit, I'm not sure, has been done. Indeed, Reverend Sudanaba and Archbishop Nicholas Duncan Williams called for that audit as well. Kujeto Ablakwa, quite a number of people have called for that audit. I'm not sure that audit has been done, but here we are calling for more resources. On what basis do you think people will be confident in providing those resources when the ones we've given earlier, we've not properly accounted for same?
My point of more revenue is not in respect of build a cathedral. I'm saying that so that other things that are being proposed, that we need to build a hospital, we need to build something else rather than a cathedral. What we need, if we have enough resources to go around, we'll build all of these things simultaneously. But the point is not to say that one is more important, and therefore saying that cathedral is not a subservience to build a hospital or to building that. They're all collectively important. And as a people, we must build all of them.
But what's your take? Yes, what's your take on the call for audit, which has been made by many people many months ago?
Absolutely. I don't know any better way if people need clarity. and there is some appearance of lack of clarity people want to do that, certainly let's do an audit. In fact, the National Secretariat actually had indicated that it's commissioned even before the Archbishop Dr. William asked for the audit. They've ordered for that audit to be done, and so that audit is in the process. And I don't know if they have finished or not, but there's a request audit that is a motion that's been given to one of these foreign audit firms that is in motion doing that. So I say that it's a good thing. Let's do it because we need daylight and we need to be clear on what is going in and whether or not people are managing it well. So I think this government, this party, we support that kind of sanity be brought to the process. So there is no opposition to that at all. The only concern is my good brother's effort to besmirch the whole process, to make it look like something untoward is happening, that somebody set this up as a scheme, and it's an entirely a wasteful project. I think those are just the aspect that we have to manage. Our politics around the subject can advance to say that we feel that we shouldn't do this, we should do A, B, C, D, and show our justification. But let's not at any given time make this appear as if is a misplaced project. It cannot be because you may be a Christian, you may not be a Christian, but the point of it is that we, all of us, to a very large extent, are hoping against hope to say that when all this thing is said and done, we are right in what we believe to be the answer, to be the way to eternity. And so there is no certainty. So that when you come to a point where somebody's belief, you belittle it and make it to seem as if though it's not necessary, this is more important. I find that to be problematic. We're trying to build this country. If you have concern, you can say it. But today, the leadership we have a vision and have an idea in that moment, leading this country, saying that this is what we must do. When we have concern about how resources are put together, let's question that. But let's not at any point belittle the significance of building a national cathedral for us as a people in worship of God. Let's not mischaracterize the commitment there and make it appear as if
do you also think that how the project was introduced to us as a personal pledge the president made to God might have heightened the politics around the acceptability of the project? You think so?
Well, so everything the president sold to Ghanaians in terms of vision and having been elected on that basis were his beliefs, were his vision for our country. If you become the president of Ghana tomorrow, Solomon, before you will become and when you become, what you seek to advance is your good vision for Ghana, the Ghana you want to build, or if you want somebody to build for you. So that best dream you have for our country is what you advance. So these are ideas that flows from you, the person. So the president's belief that Ghana needs a national cathedral, whether he says it's his personal pledge or whatever or not, that is his part of his vision for this country. So he cannot separate it from everything else he does. So Free SHS, he believes it, he's committing our resources to educate the masses of our people who, for one reason or the other, financially could not afford to go to school. It is his vision, personal belief, that let's give opportunity to all of our children to go to school unimpeded.
Very well.
Doing that.
Very well.
So if you want to build a national cathedral, it's not different from the Free SHS, the medical drone that is brought, the one district, one factory that we are committing, tax incentives to make sure that industry springs up across our country. It is part of his vision. So yes, if we are in the process using some national resource to drive that, I think that it is for Ghana, not for him.
Very well.
What is key
is
that let's make sure that those resources are used judiciously and
we are accountable for, and we account for them.
Exactly where there are concerns, let's raise them. But
Thank
by
you.
all means, Let's not undermine the project.
Thank you so much, Richard Ahiagba, Director of Communications at MPP. Thank you so much for speaking to us on this. Honorable Ablakwa, so essentially, he doesn't disagree with you too much, apart from the symbolic exercise you carried out today. Audit is for it, national discussion is for it, etc. What's the way forward on this, just in a minute?
Well, Richard says that we shouldn't undermine the project. It is the president who undermined this project from the get-go. Look, what stopped the president from opening up, being honest, telling us that, look, can we have a discussion on National Cathedral? Though it wasn't in my manifesto. It's something I want to do. Can we all discuss as a country? If that is the way to go, then he puts it in the budget. Every year we know the allocation. All the projects that Richard Ahiagba listed, they come to us in Parliament. They are in the budget. When you take the budget, you go to the appendices, government's flagship programs. You see all of them, from free SHS to NAPCO to planting for food and stuff. And we know how much is going into these projects. Parliament approves it. There is no controversy. But this never featured. There was no specific allocation. We had to intercept documents before we knew that taxpayer funds were going to this project. No approval from the Public Procurement Authority. As we speak, despite all of these sums, over $58 million, the contractor has left site for lack of payment 2 years ago. Can you believe that? So there are issues. Look, I'm
sure he will come back. I'm sure he will come back. But on a different issue, maybe that brings you some relief and respite. You know, your people, in Southern Volta, who suffered in the Akosombo dam spillage. So this is an entirely different matter. The president today, at the Independence Day address, said that some 80 million cedis or so is being released for that particular purpose. We berated the president for not speaking about it in the State of the Nation address. Here we are, money is being released. That should make you happy.
Well, this came to my knowledge when we returned from the world's most expensive pit. We welcome the news, but I will cautiously say that let us see the results of that. There have been so many promises by this president, and we don't see it on the ground. So far, I cannot confirm to you that I have seen any government project actually taking place on the ground. So maybe the release happened a few days ago and is now going to translate into actual on-the-ground construction of homes for our people, our fellow compatriots who continue to live in tents. I have only, with the help of private sector and benevolent Ghanaians, put up houses to house 600. But there are over 2,000 people still in tents. And there's really so much an ordinary MP can do. So it's a news we will welcome, but I'll be cautious because of the track record of this government, and hope that announcement of release of funds would really translate on the ground.
Very well. Thanks so much, Honorable Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, Member of Parliament for North Tongue, speaking to us on two issues. The National Cathedral matter, they were there today to symbolically, quote-unquote, commission the uncompleted project. And also he spoke to us on the Akosombo Dam spillage. The president says that some 80 million cedis is being released for that. We'll take a short break. When we return, the Dangbe Council is unhappy with the president for what they say, what they call an attempt to rewrite history by claiming that Tete Kwashi, a Ga Dangbe, recognized for being the one to have brought cocoa to Ghana, hailed from Mampo in the eastern region. Don't go away.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
You know your papa see that? And it's rickety car. Hey, Papa!
Bobo, so how your engine now?
It is half man, half amazing. Thanks to Cause and you can feel better energy. Can't touch this. Tell you guys, so Sancho's engine just died like that? Yes, so somebody managed to convince him that there is a better engine oil than Quartz. And he switched. Sancho Panza. Now, which engine oil can be better than Quartz? No other, my guy. Quartz with its age-resistant technology, it keeps your engine younger for longer. Now you know. Have you guys seen the new bottle design? It's superb. Quartz 9000 from Total Energies there improves fuel efficiency. Why do you think Mr. Mane and Logoso have taken the Quartz Nation movement World Cup like that? Hey, sorry. Chairman Mane. Chairman. Hey, Quartz. Keep your engine younger for longer.
When you want to eat, just Momo it. Tired of the long queues in the supermarket? Pay with Momo. When you really want that beautiful new blouse, just Momo it. When you want to get a trim and get fresh to impress you know who, just Momo it. When you need to pay your utility bills and domestic staff, Chani Momo. When you want to send love to the family back home, send some Momo. Join the millions of MTN Momo users all over Ghana and live life the brighter way. So just Momo it. MTN.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. My name is Selom Adonu. Tonight I'm here with Hawa Idrisu Mustafa. Now, let's get to some Dangbe matters and matters of the 67th Independence Day celebration. Today, at that function in Koforidua, the president, amongst other things, said or alluded to the fact that Tete Kwashi, the gentleman who we learnt in school that brought cocoa to Ghana, hailed from Mampong in the eastern region. The Dangbe Council is not particularly happy with that. First, let's listen to what the president said so we can take it from there.
Today, the eastern region is, of course, not the geographic east of Ghana, but it retains a nomenclature from the colonial days when it was the eastern border of what was the Gold Coast colony. The region is the most heterogeneous in our country and a microcosm of Ghana, and home to the most diverse of peoples. Over the centuries, the region has attracted citizens from all parts of the country and beyond, who come to work and find a welcome and lasting home. The attraction is obviously the abundant mineral resources and the rich and fertile soil. It is, after all, only a few kilometers from here that the first cocoa farm in the country was planted in 1895, some 129 years ago. And from there, the planting of cocoa spread to other parts of the country and became our leading cash crop. Indeed, Tete Kwashi, an indigene of Mamponga Kwapim, here in the eastern region, brought back in the late 19th century the cocoa pod from Fernando Po, now Bioko in Equatorial Guinea, an act which led him and others to establish our nation's first commercial cocoa farms here in the eastern region.
All right, so we had the president there at the 67th Independence Day celebration marked in Koforidua and the eastern region today. So in the president's attempt to extol, some of the good things from the region, he made the point that Tete Kwashi was an indigene of the region. The Dangbe Council has issued a statement, and we have the president of the council, Honorable Ayikwe Otu, former Attorney General also of our country, on the line to help us appreciate really what the concerns of the Dangbe Council has been. Hello, good evening, sir. Welcome to Eyewitness News. Yes, Tete Kwashi might have hailed from Osu or Teshi, depending on who you speak to, and that's a whole different subject altogether. But he lived in Mampong for a long time. His farm was in Mampong, etc. So can we not excuse the president for saying that he was an indigene of the area?
I use the word indigene, isn't it? An indigene is not somebody who goes to live at a place. An indigene is an indigenous person hailing from that particular region. So if we all agree, like rightly.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
So how come that we are now?
Yes, I think we lost you. I think we lost you momentarily. So if you can restate the point from the fact that it's an indigene who went to live there, if you could restate it from there, sir.
I'm saying that the word you use is indigene, and that an indigene we all understand to be somebody ailing from the region. So if in your intro, assuming that what you have said is true, that he left his own town and went and lived there, does that make him an indigene? You cannot. You have lived in Accra. I'm sure you were even born in Accra. Can you call yourself an indigene? Maybe you are from Ada. I don't know. But if you are from Fort, you were born in Ghana, Accra, can you call yourself an indigene? The president himself I believe he lived most of his lifetime in Accra. I think he was born somewhere in the...
at Koliwoko, I think.
Swalaba went to school. Will he call himself an indigene? I don't think it's fair. And this rewriting of history is not the best. We've been told that pouring libation is a problem. Today, we saw libation being poured. Are you with me?
Yes.
But haven't you heard that for some time they've stopped pouring libation at functions done in Accra? How come that we are now pouring libation? We are almost being...
Yes, just to digress. What's the point you're seeking to make with the pouring libation in another region but not in Greater Accra? What's the point you're seeking to make, sir?
Well, you are a journalist. I'm saying that haven't you realized that for public functions they've stopped pouring libations as part of the opening prayers? Haven't you realized that? I was talking about it, that you are on our land. In fact, when I went to Canada, the indigenous people, before they do anything on their land, will call someone to pour libation, and whoever is doing the program will want to acknowledge that they are on the land of the indigenous people. Now, we've been told that Accra is cosmopolitan, so everybody comes from Accra, to the extent that nobody wants to give any credit to whatever we have done. We have been leaders. He mentioned the 6 people, 3 from the Eastern region, 2 of them from Accra, 2 of them also from Accra. What I'm saying is that let us give due where it is due. This history, we have never heard it before. We don't know where they are bringing it from. You yourself told me that he left and might have gone to live there. Does that make him an indigene for it to find itself into an historical record like the 67th anniversary speech? Nobody has said it before. How did it happen? Is it the speech writers? That's why we are saying that if it is the speech writers, then they should check their history and stop what they are doing. And if it is something very deliberate, they should also stop that. But we've taken that credit and we've said it, that even if people do not want to respect us, those cocoa that has become the flagship, the cash crop, it was a government who brought it to Accra. And now they are telling us that the man is from an indigene from Mampong, Akwapen. Well, how is that? At your age, have you heard such a story before? What you learned in school, did anybody mention Mampong, Akwapen to you? I mean, it's not fair. It's not fair. We are really peeved about this kind of thing, and we believe that it should stop. The earlier it should stop, the better.
I see. So beyond the statement you have issued, what else would the council do to ensure that this doesn't occur again?
What do you think we can do? We have called on the speech writers to check their historical facts. At my age, I should know, with my level of experience, that he doesn't need to write everything. I mean, the speeches are written for him, but it is for him to also review. It's for him to review. This thing has never happened. And people are touching on the sensibilities of Gadangmes at every stage. Just this very week or so, we've gotten, or last week Saturday, this whole idea of homosexuality being a culture of Dan and Nsima. I've also read that episode. You've seen how we are fighting together. You can't do that. When we are we are adoring a child. Some of the words we use is Abraham. Abraham means that he should come have children and then have great-grandchildren, so people will begin to refer to him or her as a great-grandfather or great-grandmother. How can it be our culture that we practice homosexuality? So if you are talking, please give us some flag. It is not fair that we are just being ridiculed. Anything they want to do, which is Ga, they will not take time, or Gadangbi, they will not take time to do it properly. Any other culture, yes, that is all they know. What is this? How do you create the impression that we have played no role? It wasn't come out when it came. We were those who allowed him to stand at Ashedu Kateke. The women, the Bokala women spent their money. They their screenshot, so the names that he was mentioning. And they're from Achim. We were the Ga people here who helped the gentleman to get to wherever he got to.
I see.
The boycott. Where is it coming from? Is it not also? So why do you sometimes try to create an impression that played no role? Why? It's not fair. It's not fair.
Very, very well. I see indeed the council is peeved, like you said earlier. But you mentioned the matter of the homosexuality, etc. Just to pick your short view on that. You've seen the bill, I guess, former Attorney General and all the things you've done. What is your honest view on the nature of the bill passed by Parliament?
Well, so long as it was debated and accepted by the people and passed in this manner, so be it. Because the parliamentarians have every right to make amendments. And in fact, many amendments were proposed. At the end of the day, this is what they accepted. They are the representatives of the people, and this is the law they have brought.
So you think the bill as it is reflects the general thinking of society?
This question, I don't know how you expect me to answer. This is the parliamentarians who are supposed to be our representatives, isn't it? And they went and met and they discussed it. Again, remember that it was not even a government-sponsored bill, but a private member. But that private member came from, what do you call it, a society. And to add to it, that this some judge who has been a spokesperson has been, he's from Ningo Gadambi. So if that is part of our culture, why should he be the one who was something? So the point is, you can make comments, but to say that it is part of the culture becomes problematic. Don't you agree with me?
So,
it becomes part of the culture, which means that right when people are born, we instill into them the idea of homosexual practices, which cannot be true. You've lived with Ga people here, if you are not one, if you are not a Kadambi. And is that what people have been telling you, that they want to sleep with you?
But very final one. So the president is signaled that he wants to await the verdict of the Supreme Court on this. You've been Attorney General, you've advised President Kufuor and all. What do you think? Do you think he should sign it or assent to it rather than saying he wants to wait for the Supreme Court?
Well, if the water has already been muddied by a Supreme Court case which is pending, it only makes sense that you have to wait for the Supreme Court to deliver. So if they don't deliver any verdict until next year, so be it.
But many have also said that he went ahead to assent to the e-levy bill, even though it had been taken to the Supreme Court. People questioning the consistency of the president's decision-making in this matter.
Oh, you are in the press, so you have an eye for some of these things. I'm not too sure whether I follow this e-levy thing. But that is it, you pick and choose.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. The Honorable Ayuko Otu, former Attorney General of our Republic, and in this context, the President of the Ghana Dangbe Council. They are not happy with the President's description of Tete Kwashi as an indigene of Mampong in the Eastern region. Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Now let's go to some security matters. Reports indicate that more than 200 residents of 3 border communities fled last night following a suspected terrorist attack at Nagudi in neighboring Togo. The Togolese community is said to have been attacked by the armed men who were numbering about 10. Following the incident, residents of Jangbande, Tambin, and Tantara too have abandoned their villages and fled to safety in Bumpurugu, Wenchike, and Yunyo, respectively. The District Chief Executive for Bumpurugu, Joseph Luknan, has joined us on the line for more details on this. Hello, good evening, sir. Welcome to Eyewitness News. What can you tell us about this situation? We have a lot of people coming to your area because they are fleeing from the terrorists. Is that the case?
Yeah, thank you so much. Actually, it was last night, around 9 p.m., when we got calls that some armed people attacked a community in Togo, which is near to the border. So we alerted our security personnel to beef up the patrols around those areas. So the SPU base, the immigration, decided to move closer to that area. They actually saw the community members, those from Togo, coming into the district, Tatara. And the information was that young guys were seated at the store in the evening around 9 p.m. And then 4 people arrived on 2 motorbikes and then shot at them, and 2 people passed on. So they decided to monitor throughout up to this morning. And the Togo side, they also deployed their security. And the information we gathered was that the people did that and flee. So up to now, they are looking for, they are searching. And then the Ghana side to Bunkrugu, Nampano district, with our security monitoring. UNO side, the same thing. And then I spoke with my colleague in UNO, Honorable BTM Konla. I spoke with my colleague, Honorable Ajazuera in Charpone. And it's the same story that the Togolese have come into some of the communities. But up to now, they are not able to know the people who did that act. And even whether they were jihadis or not, nobody is able to. So about 2 hours ago, the Togo side really indicated that they can confirm. But those who passed on from the shooting are only 2 people. 2 people which were confirmed. So for now, that is how it is. And the number of people that came to my district, we cannot give them because, it's just the border we have, but the people are more or less the same. So they move into the houses. So we've asked our NATMO unit to visit each of the households or the houses and pick the data for us so that we can see how we can then maybe plan to handle it, if they will go back or they will stay for some time.
Are you in touch with your Togolese counterparts so we know whether this was an action by terrorists or jihadis indeed, or just common armed criminals committing a crime?
Yeah, I mentioned that we're in touch with them, and that's why they confirmed that only 2 people passed on, but they are not able to ascertain as of now whether it's jihadis or some maybe criminals have done that, because this thing happened at the store. The youth were seated at the store. It's a store in that community, and they even sell drink there. So that they were just seated, and then the 2 people were riding motorbikes. Another 2, they were carrying 1 person each. So when they arrived, they saw they were holding guns and open, and they didn't stand again. They moved away. So for now, they are not able to ascertain. So my immigration sector commander, Chief Superintendent Edwin Duku, is in touch with them because we cannot determine number. We are strengthening the security on our borders. It's not only the Bunkrugu and Nampano alone, the EU and then the Charpone side. They are just monitoring and even our route, the police motorbikes trying to do questioning, where do you come from, who are you, try to find out the previous day, where were you, and other things. So that is what is basically good.
I see. So finally, can you assure us as DISEC chair that we are on top of security in the area, our borders are secure? Because I found it quite disconcerting that number of people could just rush into our communities like that because they are being attacked. Yes, and there were no checks. Our borders are so porous. I just find it a bit disconcerting.
Yeah, for my district, we have the NAV now. Recently, they've given me about 66 STU now with 20 motorbikes and then 2 new Toyota Land Cruisers. And their main duty is to patrol the borders and also check the armed robbery situation. And then the Army too, they've just given them another brand new vehicle, which is a proof, and the numbers who are there, they are also on the ground. Then, apart from the normal or usual immigration officers we also have another team from Accra. They just did some exchange recently, and then they're there. And now they've also given the immigration officers the ammunition. They were trained and supply ammunition. So from last night up to now, the immigration officers, those who are on the borders, approved routes, unapproved routes, the town, they are all wielding their weapons to ensure that the right thing is done. The EU side, they don't have a district police commander, and now my command takes care of that place. Even the Army too is my command that still take care of the place. So after the match passed, we had a short meeting and then we deployed them. And my NID just gave me information that they've been able to get to some of the people that came and then they did the interviews. So they'll report adequately when they come back to their stations. But on phone, he has told me what they're saying and whatever. With the STU, I even have Conquer Fist. So they're also on the field. Yeah, so few just came around for us to do the match pass, but they were actually around the borders. Because I have about 26 cross-border communities.
I see.
26, my side. The EU too, they have some Cherponi, some. So currently, this is what I can say for now.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Joseph Luknan, for speaking to us. He's the District Chief Executive for Bumpurugu. We understand that a number of people have crossed the border and entered the communities along those lines, because of a suspected terrorist attack at Nagudi in neighboring Togo. 2 people, according to him, were shot dead, and the gunmen or the persons who perpetrated the act, they cannot find them. Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. City Business News is up next. Don't go away.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
You Papa see that? And it's rickety car. Hey, Papa!
Bobo, so how your engine now?
It is half man, half amazing. Thanks to Cause and you can feel better energy. Can't touch this. Actually, guys, so Sancho's engine just died like that? Yes, so somebody managed to convince him that there is a better engine oil than Quartz, and he switched. Sancho Panzapa. Now, which engine oil can be better than Quartz? No other, my guy. Quartz with its age-resistant technology, it keeps your engine younger for longer. Now you know. Have you guys seen the new bottle design? It's superb. Quartz 9000 from Total Energies there improves fuel efficiency. Why do you think Mr. Mane and Logoso have taken the Quartz Nation movement World Cup like that? Mr. Mane, sorry. Chairman. Hey, Quartz. Keep your engine younger for longer.
KB, yo. Hey, KB, aka Kubeboga, now drives a Bugatti. He can even travel by road from Accra to London. Oh, wow. KB's source of wealth is agriculture. Yes, coconut business. After losing his bank job, he started supplying coconuts at events. Now, he owns large coconut plantations and employs many young people. Charlie, we all need to trust the process, because hope day.
There has never been a better time to enter into agribusiness. Take a bold step today with the Ghana Grows program, because every step pays. Ejuma Wokrom, Ghana Grows, Hope Day, an initiative of the MasterCard Foundation in partnership with Springboard Roadshow Foundation and Limehouse.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens. Get the details. Every significant financial transaction, every market movement, and all the policies that affect your business. City Business News. Be informed.
Time now for City Business News on Eyewitness News, brought to you by GCB Bank PLC. GCB Personal Loan, make that big move and dream a reality. My name is Hawa Idrisu Mustafa. Details of our stories now. As Ghana celebrates its 67th Independence Day anniversary today, the government faces increasing pressure to implement measures that will accelerate economic growth. Economist Professor John Gachi emphasized that the economy must reflect the rhetoric of political independence. In an interview with City Business News, Professor Gachi expressed concern about the government's failure to use its borrowing to transform the local economy.
We take debt, we are not able to manage the debt. We don't take debt to produce assets, we take debt to consume, and then just take a fraction to put up some assets. We make a lot of noise about those simple assets that we have created for the country. So I would say it has been undulating when it comes to the economy, and that we also, because we have not been able to be steady and consistent in building the economy, we tend to rely heavily on development finance from the World Bank and other institutions, and they tend to dictate to us. In the past, they were dictating to us in terms of production, and that collapsed our industries, and etc. That is why we have found ourselves, and we need to start all over, building the country, creating asset base for the country. So we need to start building the country, intentionally building the country. Duration of our forefathers and then our aspiration of our statesmen is to see an economy that will create happiness among the people.
You heard economist Professor John Gachi. The Bank of Ghana has underscored the potential negative impact a lack of the required investment in fintechs could have on government digitization agenda. According to the governor of the central bank, Dr. Ernest Addison, though some progress has been made in that race, more needs to be done. Here is the governor speaking on the issue.
We have an advantage in the digitization race as Africans. This is due to the bulging youthful population who are tech-savvy, the high mobile phone penetration, the consistent expansion of mobile network assets, and more importantly, the rising homegrown fintech solutions. These immense opportunities provide fertile grounds for accelerating digitalization. And while these are commendable, it is important to highlight the potential negative impact of a lack of requisite investments in African fintechs, which could have on innovations and the scalability of solutions to achieve the desired impact. To a great degree, the lack of funding can significantly stunt the growth of fintech movement in several ways. Without sufficient capital, brilliant ideas and prototypes of fintech startup solutions with the potential to address the diverse financial service needs have failed to progress to production. Furthermore, a fintech is only as strong as its members, and in that vein, a lack of funding could ultimately impact its ability to attract and retain premium talent.
That was the governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison. In a bid to strengthen small and medium-scale enterprises and make their produce readily marketable for export, the Ghana Export and Import Bank, that is the Ghana Exim Bank, says it is poised to provide working capital to cushion entrepreneurs in the country. According to the bank, the initiative will also aid SMEs to find value addition to their product. Here is the Chief Executive of the Ghana Exim Bank, Lawrence Ajensam, speaking at its Tuesday market exhibition aimed at promoting the sale of made-in-Ghana products.
We've supported our SMEs who are into garment production and other places as well. We've set up, as you've also seen, the Made in Ghana, what we call Midtown, where after the Tuesday market, you would have a location that anybody can walk in. And this has also benefited after. So all the visitors that come from outside will be able to, after these sales, the question has been, where can we get the produce? And all this is being done. We're going to very soon go to the board where all the people who are here would have some working capital for them to be able to. What we need, though, will be aggregators and also those who buy in bulk and export outside the country.
That was the Chief Executive of the Ghana Exim Bank, Lawrence Agyensam, ending City Business News on Eyewitness News. The business news on Eyewitness News is brought to you by GCB Bank PLC. GCB Personal Loan, make that big move and dream a reality. My name is Hawa Idrisu Mustafa. Up next is Point Blank.
Hello, Linda. You won't believe what I am planning next. I want to start my postgraduate degree, buy a car, and build my dream home. But you know what's stopping me?
What's that, Mike?
Money, oh. That be my biggest wahala.
Oh, you are sorted, Cry. With a GCB Big Move personal loan promo, you can borrow up to a whopping 400,000 Ghana cedis at a significantly reduced interest rate in less than 24 hours.
Like, seriously? How do I qualify?
Yes, it's available to all GCB salary account holders. Plus, you get a 2-month grace period before you start to pay back.
Susket, I'm opening an account with GCB now.
Get a personal loan of up to 400,000 Ghana cedis at a significantly reduced interest rate in less than 24 hours. Call 0800-422-422 or visit your nearest GCB branch today to fund your next big move as we celebrate 70 years of greatness. T's and C's apply. GCB Bank, your bank for life.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/City97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/City973, and Instagram at instagram.com/City973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
KB, aka Kubeboga, now drives a Bugatti. He can even travel by road from Accra to London. Oh, wow. KB's source of wealth is agriculture. Yes, coconut business. After losing his bank job, he started supplying coconuts at events. Now, he owns large coconut plantations and employs many young people.
Charlie,
we all need to trust the process, because hope days.
There has never been a better time to enter into agribusiness. Take a bold step today with the Ghana Grows program, because every step pays. Ejuma Wokrom, Ghana Grows, Hope Day, an initiative of the MasterCard Foundation in partnership with Springboard Roadshow Foundation and Limehouse.
There are some classy celebrations that call for whipping out your favorite China sets. Same goes for your luxury vehicle. Just any engine oil won't do. Premium understands premium best. The new Shell Helix Ultra 0W20 SP with carbon neutral properties is the one for your premium car. It's a fully synthetic motor oil designed using the Shell Pure Plus technology. Prevents dirt buildup with exceptional cleaning power, leaving your pistons cleaner than a whistle up to 50% more than the industry standard, and gives you stronger, long-lasting engine performance. So, if you want your classic car to run smoothly like a Ferrari for years to come, use the Shell Helix Ultra 0W20 SP with carbon neutral properties. Shell Helix Ultra 0W20 SP, designed for ultimate engine performance.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Welcome back to Point Blank on Eyewitness News. 20 minutes to the top of the hour. My guest for Point Blank tonight is Mustafa Gbande, Deputy General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress. He's joined us for a chat on a number of issues. Hi, Mustafa. Welcome to Point Blank.
Thank you very much, my brother.
Happy Independence Day to you.
Thank you very much.
I also read the statement issued by your boss, and of course said a number of things about the state of our economy, country, and all of that. The fact that there's despondency and all of that. One would have thought that the Independence Day statement, at least you just say the nice things and then you leave it that way, so that maybe from tomorrow we start dealing with the hard issues again.
Well, I think that the General Secretary managed his tone in that letter this afternoon. But of course, we are happy that we are 67 years, but equally sad that on the 67 years and in the last 7 years, we have seen the highest and heightened level of reckless corruption. Flagrant disregard to law and process, abuse of power and office. President Akufo-Addo have taken us 20 years backward as a country. President Akufo-Addo is the only president who is in power as president. Yet Ghanaians are crying. They haven't eaten. But he says we should be jubilating. We should be excited. I mean, for me, that is what his governance have been. Under his government today, poverty rate have gone very high. Ghanaians are really broke under his government. People cannot afford 3 square meals. Under his government, even salaried workers are suffering. Financial insecurity. So families are very vulnerable. On top of that, we are experiencing the highest level of arrogance in government.
So these are the downsides of the garbage you may be mentioning, but there are positive lights as well.
Of course.
Free SHS. We have more than 1 million people who wouldn't have had secondary education. Now they have secondary education thanks to Akufo-Addo's vision of free SHS. There may be issues with it, but that doesn't take away from the fact that people who otherwise couldn't have had education, have it. The revolution in the education sector, the introduction of STEM and the schools they are building, infrastructure and all of that. These obviously are positives. A number of factories also set up. It may not have met, the numbers, but at least some factories have been set up which have employed about 170,000 people. These are positives. Baumia says over 2 million jobs have been created over the period. That is quite huge. So these are positives that we can also point
to. Than we see it. If you tell me that we built factories and over 17,000 jobs, where are the factories? Can you give me one? Can you name one of the factories?
No, there's Ekufi Juice, which we all mentioned, and a number of people have been employed. Is that one? There are a number.
Factories?
Yes, there are a number of them.
Which of them?
So, for example, when you're going to Nsawam, I just cannot remember the name, but there's one close to the Ejapia area when you're going to Nsawam. It's written boldly there 1D, 1F. And a number of them around. I may just not have them. And then some existing factories have also seen expansion. Thanks to the 1D, 1F.
Rebranding or expansion.
They've seen expansion.
They have not seen expansion.
Really?
Yes. A number of the factories have been rebranded. They were already existing. They are private-owned initiatives, and government goes behind the doors to try and convert them to 1D, 1F.
Like which one?
A lot of them.
Like which one?
Bring the list. You mentioned factories. I didn't mention factories.
No, but I'm not alleging that. You are alleging that.
You started a conversation that they've created factories and then they've given jobs, and I ask you where are the factories? It's a confuse. So if you create 10 factories, say that you have built 100 factories.
No, I don't know about that. Okay. I mean, they say that they've built a number of them.
So do you also agree that
and
Ghanaians
some are still, they say Ghanaians are not hungry.
They're hungry, yes.
But Ghanaians, Jesus said the poor you always have with you. You always have people who are hungry.
No. This poor is not the one Jesus talked about.
Which one is this one?
This poverty is the one that the man who is supposed to be protecting the public purse is currently running away with the public purse.
To where?
And that is President Akufo-Addo.
Running away with the public purse to where?
Under him. I'm still young, but I haven't seen this level of corruption in governance. I've not seen it before. I haven't seen the level of.
Well, when you say corruption, what do you mean by saying corruption?
This is the first time corruption that emanates from the seat of governments. In the past, if you hear a scandal around the office of president and the presidency, it was something that brings a lot of worry to the seat of government. Today, the president sleeps and dreams of corruption. He wants to, because that's where it emanates. Corruption is centralized under this. So you don't know?
No,
the last one is the $12 million Ajapa deal. Did you interrogate it?
Why not? We did.
So you didn't see that there was an expenditure of $12 million for no work done?
No, not necessarily. I mean, there were feasibility works.
And you don't think that there's conflict of interest?
No, so don't say no work done. Work was done.
What work?
There were feasibility studies. There were talks about. There were talks about listing on the stock exchange. All these processes cost money.
I'm talking about what gave us cost. Cost against the state. And you are talking about talks about feasibility. I'm talking about 153 million Ghana cedis being shared between Kenoforata's company and Gabi's company. And you are talking about feasibility?
No, but they were engaged to do some work, were they not?
What work?
No, but I mean, data bank you mean.
So
right?
you don't think that when the president's brothers are busy taking money from the public purse, there's conflict of interest?
Yeah, so you could argue so, but
that's not a crime.
Not necessarily. There's a way you deal with matters of conflict of interest. You declare interest. So you do all of that. So we don't know whether they did so.
We know
that they did not declare. They did not declare interest in the matters. You declare your interest.
Really?
You are not part of the process. You allow the process to go on without your influence.
So then, because government is government, we don't have prioritization anymore. So even when we are crying that the economy is collapsed, let us continue to use the little resources we have.
But it's expertise
in that manner. What expertise?
Data bank.
So I've just mentioned to you one of the.
No, but that's not corruption necessarily.
That's stealing.
It's not. I don't.
That's not corruption. You call it, but that's stealing from the public.
I don't think.
Let us also talk about the dams.
Which dams?
That when a government takes money. And says that I'm going to build dams.
The one village, one dam?
One village, one dam.
Okay.
They were saying that the whole country, but now they have reduced it to the northern regions.
No, but it's always been a northern Ghana promise.
Did they build the dams?
No, so some dams were built.
At where? So I ask you, you can't say some dams were built because, you see, when Baumia makes statements and you guys are running away with it.
When Baumia makes what statement?
He lies.
That what?
The man is a liar. He says, I built dams. Where are the dams? Did you see the dams?
No. What was the point you're making?
I'm just saying that I said they are stealing public money. You said no. And I'm saying that they took money from World Bank. They said they want to construct dams. And they never did. And then we can't find the money. Can you find the money?
No.
Did you see the dams?
No, some dams were built.
Where? Some dams were built where?
Were built
I've been looking for the list of where in the last 1 month. Nobody in government can provide me the list.
So that there are dams built in Donwini.
It's not true.
There's
no dam there. There's no dam.
There are dams built in Lisa.
There is no dam there.
Erimon.
Please, there's no dam.
Nanyari, Nowoyeli, and Zambo, all in the Upper West region. Dams are there.
There's no dam. There's no dam there. The people of Upper
West.
No,
I've just mentioned
where dams are. I'm in the field every day. I'm telling you, there's no dam. Yes, if you like, tomorrow, let's take your car and go to the places that you have called and go and check if we see dams.
But we've seen dams, right?
Have you seen dugouts or you've seen dams?
No, we've seen, yes. So
have you seen dams or dugouts?
No, so we know what a dugout is, and we know we know that the operational definition for what they wanted to do was not the dam we know. It was actually
said they'll build dam. The slogan is that one village, one dam.
Yes, and at the time I recall that when that promise was
made, they lied to the public.
When that promise was made,
when they say that I'll build one village, one dam, they lied to the public.
Was made.
Baumia lied to the public. When he says that I'll build one village, one dam, everybody knew that the vice president and his government were coming to build dams. Where are the dams?
I see.
They haven't built one.
They've built quite a number of them.
It caused financial loss to the state.
How Akumsin was it?
Any day NDC comes to power,
you probe that.
We will not probe. We will prosecute people.
No, but you have to prove first.
We know.
You have
Your sister station, Joy FM did documentary.
You have to build a docket.
Didn't you see the documentary Joy FM?
You have to prove first.
You didn't see the documentary Joy FM.
You don't prosecute based on documentary. You prosecute after you've built a docket.
We are in opposition and we are holding evidence that suggests that they have caused financial loss. If you take money for dams and you go and construct dugouts, and some of them are actually football parks today as we speak.
The dugouts are now football parks.
Yes,
so they play in the pits.
Go and check.
Or the pits, the pits are no more depression. So the pits have
even
been exalted.
If you go and you dig a pit and you leave it, after
when it rains, it fills up.
It fills up.
I see.
That is the financial loss.
I see. This is this point blank. My guest is Mustafa Gbande, Deputy General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress. We're having a chat on general issues. So, John Dramani Mahama, your flag bearer, we understand sometime last week, presented a list or a name of his running mate to the executives of the party. I don't know if it's FEC or NEC, for deliberation. And you have promised that tomorrow, which is Thursday, you will outdoor the person. What kind of person is this one?
So the curtains are closed. Tomorrow, NDC will know its running mate. What is very important is that we are going to put out a running mate that is better than the status quo. A running mate that brings to bear credibility and integrity. I've always said that.
And is there a running mate we've seen before in the scheme of NDC's things?
You may have seen, you may not have seen, but I'm just saying that in the context of NDC's running mate, which we are going to name tomorrow, credibility is a key thing for us. Credibility is a big idea, big agenda.
And you are sure that this person you'll be outdooring tomorrow has
those qualities.
No blemish, no stain,
we will present
no
the
spots.
candidate for public scrutiny. Just as we are scrutinizing other people today. And I say that today, the seat of vice president has been deprived. And you know, there's credibility deficit to the seat of vice president because of the legacy of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Because today, if you ask my son who is...
Bawumia has been reputed to be one of the most active vice presidents we've ever seen.
He's the most
active vice president we've ever seen.
He's been used as an instrument to deceive the public.
Really?
Yes.
What was the deceit? Championing digitalization, ensuring that there's mobile interoperability, which has saved us money.
All the promises that President Akufo-Addo made to Ghanaians that have ended up being fraudulent, substandard, and unachievable.
Promises like what? He said he would do free SHS. He did it. He said he would build factories.
You see, the most
We've seen
dangerous
some
thing
factories.
is when we don't interrogate issues and we take them hook, line.
So what issues haven't we interrogated?
Did you interrogate the Free Senior High School?
No, of course we did.
So
we've made a point. We've made a point that free SHS may have issues, which we have to deal with.
The mayor is a very important thing.
Which we have to. Every project
has issues.
Every project or program has issues.
No. Proper planning doesn't bring problems.
Every project or program has issues.
Are you saying that when we are going to build bridges, we should construct and pretend that they will have issues so that people will go and pass on that bridge?
But the bridge analogy won't work here. This is a project with human beings.
We are producing graduates
across the country.
We are training students. We are bringing up students. And the danger is that as you are sitting here today, your children, my brothers who are home, their next available, parents are the teachers. How are the teachers faring under Free Senior High School policies? What is the quality of teaching work that goes into the students? Is it not dangerous that we are producing substandard students? Is it not too dangerous for you?
Because it is your case that the teachers are not properly catered for?
The MPP's whole idea of Free Senior High School is about votes. It's not about the quality of students.
And the vice president you are adoring tomorrow will ensure that teachers are well catered for. I mean, with the candidates and all of that.
We are bringing a vice presidential candidate who Ghanaians can trust that when he says, I will do it.
When he
or she says, I will do it.
So the choice takes into consideration the gender of the person.
In the Bible, there was no she, there was he.
So the gender of the person is important.
The he in the Bible connotes he or she. So in either wise, it could be a woman, it could be a man. So
it's more likely to be a woman.
Whatever it is, I'm just saying that whoever becomes the vice presidential candidate tomorrow emerge out of the meeting. I will be happy to say that a woman is partnering a man to go into the presidency 2024. I'll be happy to see that because a woman is a special representation when it comes to the country. There are a lot of women. But I do not know what His Excellency the President will be saying because there are people that are ahead of me. I'm sitting here as a deputy. I'm sure my boss is probably aware of some conversation at that level.
But you've seen the name. Well, it was presented to you.
I haven't seen the name. I'll see the name tomorrow. But I certainly know that the name represents credibility and integrity. Baumia was presented to us as an economic wizard, the most brilliant economist, professor of a doctorate of economics. He's from Bank of Ghana. When he becomes president, vice president, all our problems will come to an end.
Well, nobody said that.
He said that.
No.
That's what the MPP did. That's how they marketed him.
That all our problems will end.
Didn't you hear them? He didn't hear all lectures. All the lectures, the economic lectures.
They didn't say all our problems will end. That's your own exaggeration.
Why? The man said that everything, we have the money. The money is in the country. Why are we suffering? There's no need for us to be suffering. They know where the money is. He chastised President Mahama for borrowing. Our debt to GDP was 54%. Today we have 104%.
We don't have 104. We used to have 104. There's debt restructuring.
Do you think Ofurata is presenting realistic figures?
That has improved.
A finance minister that presents figures every day and it's being refuted from Parliament?
There's an IPAC meeting tomorrow.
Yes.
The NDC finally returned to IPAC. And you've been on the case of the EC to publish the calendar. We've seen some calendar or some document that spells out activities to be carried out, purportedly coming from the Electoral Commission. Has the NDC seen this calendar?
First of all, we have held a position that by this time, 10 months into an election, we should be having a calendar of activities, which becomes a roadmap for all stakeholders of the 2020 election to follow. So for whatever reason, the Electoral Commission has never done that. It was up until last Thursday that Honorable Manibuama wrote a letter to the EC detailing what we envisage as tasks ahead of us, things that we must do, checklist that we must fulfill before, we can say that there is going to be a credible election. Then I think on Saturday or so, we saw a response from EC that there was going to be an IPAC meeting on the 7th, which is tomorrow. Surprisingly to us, we woke up on Monday and there's a publication in the Daily Graphic to the effect that represented a calendar. And then the question we ask is, if EC knows that it was going to publish a calendar, why didn't they do that long ago? Only to wait until we request. And then on top of that, what is being published in the Daily Graphics is not a document for stakeholders to consider. We cannot even discuss it because the EC must know, for all intents and purposes, within the competent discharge of their responsibilities in good faith, a document for public from Electoral Commission must be signed by the Electoral Commission. And it must be on either the letterhead or the logo of the Electoral Commission. Political parties do not take correspondence from the Electoral Commission through publications. And so, and then what is even more shameful is for them to come back and say, we didn't leak it. So what we are discussing now, who caused it? The same way they will leak our 2024 results and say that they didn't leak it. It's unprofessional, it's a lazy administration, and they must set up and do proper work. You cannot call a meeting and leak the agenda of the meeting to the public. Listen to the discourse on the agenda whilst we are hiding by the windows. The Electoral Commission has doors. It cannot come in its own house through the window. IPAC is a forum for political parties.
What's the practice? The calendar should be presented to you before the meeting.
The practice of
before the meeting.
The practice is that if you want to discuss a matter,
know ahead of time. So
if you want to discuss a matter, you give notices to stakeholders, which EC did. Say that we are going to IPAC on the 7th
to discuss
the calendar and other issues. So what was the rationale leaking that same agenda to the public? Now they say, we didn't issue a statement. if what we saw is anything to go by, how did it get leaked? Who leaked it from EC? How can a sensitive institution like the Electoral Commission's document get leaked?
But I mean, this is general information.
So we've been discussing it. So on what basis are we discussing it? Is it a document? Is it anything before us? What is the rationale behind EC's conduct of leaking its own meetings way ahead of time?
You're leaking the way you are putting it. It does appear that the leaking was officially done.
No, it was not. Nobody leaks officially. I'm saying that if you prepare your salary structures for workers in Citi FM, and tomorrow
an unscrupulous employee could just leak it.
It means there's no proper administration here.
No, but it does happen. I mean, even from the presidency. What it
means is that we can't rely on that institution.
No, from the presidency, even things leak.
It's because a lot
from national security, things leak. From the FBI, things leak. From the White House, things leak. So things will always leak. Because human beings are those.
So EC had the calendar, yet it cannot give it to stakeholders. All this while.
So why do you think that the EC hasn't given you the calendar so you guys will look at it before the meeting? Why do you
How come it was only the time that EC scheduled for a meeting that the document got leaked? How come?
So what's your suspicion? Why do you think the EC will not officially give it?
We think that it's unprofessional. We think that the Electoral Commission is trying to tie political parties behind their backs.
I see.
No political party controls the Electoral Commission. It is an independent institution. And as such, we all also know that political parties are major stakeholders in the progress of Electoral Commission. And so IPAC is a forum where political parties will meet and make inputs. If you acknowledge the same and you have written notices for meetings and the agenda is leaked to the public, what is the rationale? Is there anything to hide?
You've been listening to Mustafa Gbande, Deputy General Secretary of the NDC. Two big things will happen tomorrow. NDC will adore its running mate to flag bearer John Mahama tomorrow. And there's an IPAC meeting as well to discuss the electoral calendar. The NDC and other parties have been calling for it. We've seen some documents in the media, but the parties say they've not been officially given, and so they do not know and cannot speak to that document. We'll wait tomorrow to see how that goes. We conclude today's program, the holiday edition. Thanks so much for doing the listening as always. Show produced by Nana Kobna-Welsing and Bevlin London. Technical assistance given by Daniel Squashi. Social media support, Daniel Abugri and Edwin Kwakofi. Earlier you heard Hawa Idrisu Mustafa, and my name is Selom Adonu. Have a good evening.
City News. We speak first. Reach our hotline on 03